I hope I'm not adding much burden. मैं बहुत ज़्यादा pressure तो नहीं create कर रही हूँ. This is actually the least I can try because definitely internal assessment के लिए भी आपका जाना होता है, and then I also need to make sure that whatever I'm teaching you, that is getting stored, and by those preparations for test, um, it will actually lessen your burden. Okay, yeah. Anyone has any doubt or you want to ask anything? Okay, so I have 43 students here. I think I'll begin with the class. So in the last class, have I begun with your renewable resources of energy, or am I yet to start with it? Anyone, Vida? Yes, any one of you, Vida? मैंने renewable energy आपकी क्लास में स्टार्ट कर दिया था कि मुझे अभी और मतलब बताना है? Um, I'll tell the topics, आकृति, ठीक है? क्योंकि उस टाइम तक तो सारा कवर हो जाएगा, but of course not every part will be possible. Although आपको एग्जाम्स के लिए सारा तैयार करना होगा, but still I'll give the topics. ठीक है, मैं टॉपिक्स का लिस्ट दे दूंगी, उसमें से ही आपको है ना अपना तैयार करना होगा, ठीक है? But they will cover almost all the units. या बेटा, हाँ. सो रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी में मैंने कहाँ तक पढ़ाया था? इफ एनीवन कैन रिकॉल इट, अदरवाइज मैं भी पीपीटी खोलती हूँ तो शायद से सब समझ में याद आ जाए. हाँ, okay. I'll start the recording first. या श्योर है ना, मैं वही करने जा रही हूँ. पहले मैं सोच रही थी कि एक बार रिकॉर्डिंग ऑन कर दूँ मैं. मुझे आप लोगों की रिकॉर्डिंग वाले लिंक्स भी शेयर करने हैं. एक्चुअली बड़ी आफत का काम है वो. पहले वो लिंक्स ही करो, उसके बाद में आई शेयर दैट विद यू. This call is now being recorded. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay. So I'll begin with the first slide. So it was this, and then we discussed about Amazon, and then does renewable energy has the potential to save life. Then we did this, then the calculations. Then we talked about why, means how India found it's a necessity towards building and looking towards this alternate source of energy, that is renewable sources of energy, the distribution, and then the targets, how the targets have to be met, and then the distribution here in terms of current. This is the current distribution, and the energy storage. So कहाँ तक हुआ था बेटा? Anyone can tell me? Have I covered this slide? ये मैंने बता दिया था?
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. So have I started discussing about energy storage? Means this slide where I was telling about potential energy. Fine,
Yes,
fine,
ma'am.
fine. Good, good, good. Then I think I have to begin with this part of concrete block energy storage.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Okay. So we were discussing about here that one of the challenge with the renewable resources of energy is what and how to collect this extra amount of energy that we are getting, because unlike coal and petroleum, which are available throughout year and every time, there might be challenges with the renewable sources of energy, because wind is not every time available, sun is not available every time. So like rainwater harvesting, where we get water only during monsoon seasons. So what we do is we collect, of course we calculate, and as per the capacity needed, we create a tank, and then we collect the water. So even when the monsoons are not there, that water is stored there and we can use that stored water. Similarly, we are trying to do it here in case of solar and wind energy. If the sunlit days are not there or cloudy days are there, or your windy days are not there, if the wind power is not there, so what, how to manage those days and how to cover up with the with the energy supplies in those days. So when they are in the excess, when the sunlight is bright, when the wind is strong, so we try to collect as much amount of energy as possible and store it by converting it into different form of energy. So in this case, what we had done was, the solar energy or the wind energy, they are connected with this subsidiary hydro storage thing. So whatever the excess amount of energy that is being produced on the bright sunny days or in a windy days, what will do, that energy will be utilized in pushing this water up in the reservoir. So this energy, which is coming from extra amount of energy, which is coming from your wind or from your solar energy, is being utilized and is converted into potential energy of this water source. So in the off windy days or in the cloudy days when there is no sun or where there is no wind or no sun, this water is made to run down. So ये जो आपका potential energy पहले stored था, this will get converted into kinetic energy. This will which run the generator. This rotation energy will then generate the electricity between the magnetic field by Faraday's law. And so वो जो energy है वो कहाँ से आ रहा है? That energy was actually the extra amount of energy which was supplied by the solar plants or by the wind plants. See? So what we are seeing is here, direct हमें भले ही ना दिख रहा हो, but it's actually the form of energy which they are trying to convert it into different forms. Okay, so here they have tried converting it into the potential energy of the water, which then in the in the time when this stored amount of energy has to be harnessed, तो उस समय इस पानी को they allow it to run exactly in the same principle as the hydroelectric power runs or the hydro water projects run, जिसमें कि पानी का potential energy that changes into kinetic energy and so on, it produces the electricity. And this potential energy in the water is actually converted from where? This solar energy, this extra amount of solar energy and the wind energy, which is being utilized in pushing this water up into their head or on the height. Okay. So another innovation in this is concrete block energy storage. Now, what is this? किस तरीके से काम करते हैं? It's a wonderful technique. Okay, I even didn't had an idea unless and until I went through this CII course. So I'll show you a motion video where you will understand it better there. Okay. So wait, I'll show you this concrete block energy storage. Wait. uh, let's hear this. Yes. Okay. Where's the video? Video is not here. No. Okay, wait. Yes, it's here. Yeah. So I'll share the screen and okay. So
introducing Energy Vault. Energy Vault's mission is to better the planet through renewable energy. We have developed a groundbreaking energy storage technology that will enable a planet powered by renewable resources. Even at the forefront of technological innovation, there is a limit to the amount of electricity that can be delivered to the grid from intermittent renewable energy sources. Renewable energy is now widely affordable. However, production unpredictability and intermittency from reliance on factors such as wind and sunlight mean that without cost-effective storage, renewables will not be able to fully replace the fossil fuel generation. Until now, Energy Vault, a low-cost electricity system based on gravity and kinetic energy, creates energy storage that finally allows renewables to deliver dispatchable and baseload power at the price that is competitive with carbon-based sources. Our product consists of a collection of custom and expensive bricks. A unique 6-arm support crane, electric motors, generators, sensors, and control software, which combine to deliver a 30-plus year life and round-trip efficiency of around 90%. As the crane lifts the bricks, the energy is stored in the elevation gain. Electricity powers the electric motors to raise the weights from the base state, building a self-supporting tower, which is the charge state. Each stacked tower of bricks will have a capacity of between 10 and 35 megawatt hours and a power output of up to 5 megawatts. When the time comes to discharge, the crane simply returns the bricks to their base state. The kinetic energy from the falling brick turns the motor, previously used to lift a brick, into a generator. This then passes the electricity through an inverter and out to the grid. Our specially engineered control software ensures that each brick is placed in the exact position each time, and even takes into account the effects of extreme weather conditions. The plant is unmanned, with many plants able to run from a single control center, allowing a quick response to market signals in real time, day and night. Our custom bricks are the perfect combination of a steel base plate, a high-strength concrete bottom, plus recycled rock and concrete mixture, allowing gravity storage to achieve a radical price-performance breakthrough. Bricks can be personalized, either to blend into the environment with a single color, or each brick can be considered an individual pixel and used to create a picture or company logo. We have come a long way in replacing dirty, carbon-based fossil fuels with clean and renewable resources. And now, with Energy Vault systems delivering long-duration energy storage at low levelized cost, we can start to believe in a fully renewable world for the next generation and beyond. Energy Vault, enabling a renewable world.
Okay, so I hope you although their dialect might be a bit confusing to you, but I'm sure you got the concept. So what they wanted to say was that although we have started going far into this thing of renewable sources of energy, but there are certain limitations with renewable sources of energy, and they are chiefly that in terms of consistency. Okay, consistency means consistent supply of energy is still a challenge, because if we talk about solar energy or wind energy, so how we are going to produce the energy when the sun is not there or the wind is not there. Okay, so in that case again we have to shift our dependencies, or we have to take the electricity from the grid supply again, which is consuming fossil fuel. So they have came up with this concept of Energy Vault. Now that is one company. So they were advertising their blocks, and they told that their blocks were made up of concrete, and they have tried using the material so that their gravity thing is good. They are very durable. They are light. They are a long run time, means they can be there for about more than 10 years or 20 years of time. And their software system is very precise in a way that each block that is lifted will be placed back in the same position. Okay, so what they have done, what they were trying to tell, that they have the 6 arms crane, and they will pick these blocks. Now in order to pick that block, उसको run करना होगा, मोटर से उसको ऊपर की तरफ pull करना होगा. So that motor energy is coming from this extra amount of solar energy and the wind energy, which is being collected at the time when sunlight is good or when the wind is strong. ठीक, so वो मोटर पंप क्या करेगा, इस बिल्डिंग ब्लॉक को या इन ब्लॉक्स को उठा के, कंक्रीट ब्लॉक्स को उठा के हाइट पे लेके चला जाएगा. Okay, now when they are taking it into height, this is getting converted into potential energy. ठीक, so when there is no windy day or where there is no sunlight, so these blocks which are at height, which have a potential energy, will be allowed to fall down. So जब ये fall down करेगा, तो what will happen? This potential energy will get converted into kinetic energy, and this kinetic energy will be used for running the motors, which will then produce the electricity. Okay? So this is the different way, and they had showed the capacity that this one concrete unit can produce around some 10 megawatt or something like that, or 15 electricity, which is huge amount. Okay. So it implies that this extra amount of energy which solar energy or the wind energy is producing can be stored in these building blocks up to the capacity of 50 megawatt. And during off sunny days and off windy days, by putting these blocks down, the potential energy can be converted back into kinetic energy, and that is how they are utilizing the source. So that fossil fuel के ऊपर में जो dependency था, that can be removed. So this is one second technique for the storage of energy. Is it clear, beta? Is this concept clear, or if any, or anyone has any doubt, please let me know. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Okay, so now I will move to another technique to store this extra amount of energy from solar or wind, and that is in batteries. So these are lithium batteries, and then they have quite a fair capacity. So this one image is from Australia, okay, the southern part of Australia. Now this part is quite a desert, and it is quite cut off from the developed part of the Australia. So these places usually used to face the power shortage. So because this area has huge amount of sunlight, so what they did was this extra amount of sunlight that they were harnessing, they stored it in the form of battery system, which was made up of lithium, and this capacity is very good. It's 100 megawatt, 100 megawatt. Okay, but the problem with this battery system is that these lithium battery cannot keep, means इनका leaky power काफी है, means they dissipate this amount of energy at a very faster rate. So they say that even if that is harnessing, lithium battery is harnessing this 100 megawatt, so 70 megawatt of that gets almost wasted, and rest 30 megawatt that is remaining then provides the energy for 3 hours or supply. Okay, so although they are not giving up, okay, and the Tesla is trying to come up and is making modifications through innovations and techniques and technologies, so that this leaking power or this leaking thing or this dissipating thing in lithium ion battery can be improved more and more, so that it can store this energy for a greater period of time. Okay, so now the fourth way of is doing it. Everything is physics. Okay, so what we are seeing here is actually physics. Okay, now the fourth way is to use this energy, that is extra amount of energy that is coming from solar or whatever or your wind, in compressing the air. ठीक, अभी जो air को compress कर दिया है, तो जो compressed air में जो pressure और tension है, that is the form of stored energy there. Okay? So when the off windy days are there and the solar energy is not there, इस pressure को release कर दिया जाता है, which is then released in the form of an energy, which is then utilized for producing the electricity. So this is how they are using. So what they are doing is this motor. Okay, ये जो grid supply है, that is coming from your solar energy, not from the fossil fuel one. Okay, so this will run the motor and this will compress the gas. Now, when this gas will be compressed, it has a huge strain and between the gas molecules. Okay? So in the off solar light days, when the solar energy is not there, this pressure is released, as a result of which this energy is used to run the turbines, which in turn runs the generator to produce the electricity. Okay, so this is the fourth way of storing your energy. This we have already discussed about. I think it shouldn't be here. ये slide ऊपर में होना चाहिए. So we have already discussed about this carbon engineering when we were discussing about CO2 capture. Okay, I hope I have discussed it. I have showed you the video also, right? But have I showed the video for carbon engineering? जिसमें कि how CO2 can be put back to the minerals and how CO2.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Pallavi. Thank you. Right, so it's the same here. Okay, so that is what I was telling you about and asking, can the power plants be carbon negative? And yes, it is possible. So in Iceland, the geothermal power plant, which extracts the heat from the underground and generates electricity. So what it does is, whatever amount of carbon dioxide is released during this geothermal energy, whatever amount of, if at all, then it is mixed with water and then it is injected back around 700 meters deeper. Okay? So this then forms the part of the mineral. Similarly, in China also, the thermal powers which are using this coal, so huge amount of CO2 that is released from the chimney is not allowed to escape in the air, but it is pumped back into the soil somewhere around 700, 500, depending upon what depth it is injected back where they again form the part of the minerals. And that is what we were discussing in the when I was showing you the video on carbon engineering, that they are using this CO2 which they are pumping back into the ground also for producing oil. Okay. Fine. Now there is one very very good thing of methane. अभी तक हम CO2 के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, but what about methane? So can methane be also used and can be controlled? So yes. And the good part with methane is that unlike your lithium battery, जो भी हम टेस्ला का बात कर रहे थे, जिसका कि issue होता है, it cannot store the energy forever. These methane batteries are a very good solution because they can be stored forever. Okay, so what they are doing is, especially during your sewage treatment, the whatever CO2 or methane that is released. So if it is in form of CO2, then it is converted into methane. I mean, if it is directly methane, then it's best. Okay, and then that methane is, of course, methane is a fossil fuel in itself. So या तो methane को directly fossil fuel, sorry, not fossil fuel, methane को they are directly using it as a source of energy, or if they have CO2, they will convert that CO2 in the presence of methanogenous bacteria into methane, and then that methane is then used as a fuel in generating electricity. Okay, so what they are doing is here, through an electrolytic process, they split the water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen. And the oxygen is released back into the atmosphere, and hydrogen is a source of food for these methanogen bacteria. So this hydrogen is given to those bacteria as a food, which then grow and convert the CO2 into methane. And this methane, along with the methane that is produced in the sewage plant, or in the biogas plant, is being combinedly sent into your as a fuel for generating electricity. Is it clear? देखो normal process है, समझो. Methane तो directly आपके fuel की तरह काम कर सकता है, but CO2 cannot, because CO2 is not a combustible gas. Rather, it extinguishes the gases or extinguishes the fire, right? So उसको combustible बनाने के लिए क्या किया है कि CO2 को methane में convert कर दिया. And how they are doing it? They are taking the help of methanogenous bacteria. See? और methanogen bacteria का capacity होता है that they have this this machinery, their natural machinery where they can convert the CO2 into methane. ठीक? तो इन methanogen bacteria को produce करने के लिए क्या चाहिए? They need some खुराक, which is in the form of an hydrogen, and they are producing this hydrogen by splitting the water molecule into hydrogen and oxygen, where the oxygen is sent to atmosphere. Hydrogen is used to give a source of food to these bacteria, which then convert the CO2 into methane. Is it clear? Is this clear, Vida? Is this mechanism clear, Vida? This methane, methane battery thing? Anyone? Hello. Any doubt, Vida? क्या बात, एकदम सन्नाटा हो गया. किसी को बेटा कोई डाउट तो नहीं है यहाँ पे? ओके, इतना सन्नाटा होता तो मुझे समझ में नहीं आता, या तो पूरा समझ में आ गया या फिर बिल्कुल ही नहीं समझ में आया होगा. Anyways, it's fine. Okay. Now we come on to, means after understanding the scene of renewable energy in India and everything, the question comes, what are the challenges with RE? So one was that storage challenge. What will we do and then when there are off sunny days or when days are off windy days? तो कैसे हम उस energy को store करेंगे? So we have gone through several new innovative technologies and techniques in this direction, but there are still challenges which still need to be addressed. Okay, first thing is there is limited awareness in consumers. Now, say for example, I also know about solar energy, okay? But when it comes to installing these solar units, then of course there will be several questions in my head about how to install it, what is the amount of cost of the solar energy, how will I replace my electricity that has been produced that I am right now taking from the grid electricity supply and replace it with the solar thing. In how much time period will I be get the profitable outcome from it, okay? And so on. Okay, for that the awareness is very limited, and in order to promote renewable energy, it is very important that awareness has to be created in between the consumers. So there are several business models which we will discuss in short, how this renewable energy through these models can help a link between consumers, stakeholders, third party people, and the government. Okay, how they will play the role, or how they are helping the consumers in either in either generating their electricity by themselves, or in selling that energy, means producing and selling that energy to the people where they can get money out of it also. Okay, so the good part with renewable energy is that it will not only make us independent of the electricity that we are taking. It's simply like rainwater harvesting. What we are doing in rainwater harvesting, we are generating our own source of water. So in that case, we are not dependent on tap water or the municipal water supply. Okay? Similarly, with these renewable energy sources, we can install them right in our houses, and we need not depend then on the grid electricity supply or have to pay any bill. Rather, we can produce extra amount of energy and we can sell it to the grid electricity supply or the other units, and we can make money out of it. So this can be changed into business model also. So what are those models? I'll be discussing it short. Okay. Now, second thing is about finance. Now, these projects, of course, need huge finance. Okay. Even this 175 megawatt target that government is looking forward to do, the Indian administration is looking forward to achieve by 2022, requires huge amount of investment. Okay. So one part of investment they are getting it from the this green credit. Okay, or what we say that it's a green bank. Okay, so when we will discuss about policy, I'll discuss mention there. So they make it sure that those countries which are, especially your developing countries, who are taking steps forward in creating these renewable energy sources of energy, they will be provided with some financial aid in the form of money, as well as in the form of sharing of technologies from other nations. Okay. So, however, but still, if I talk about on a personal scale, that if I have to buy solar panels, then of course they are very, very costly. So in that case, government either have to, both government and the private agencies, whosoever are selling these panels, they need to assure people that they are being provided with subsidies, or they can be provided with the loans. And if at all they still find it expensive, then they should tell them clearly and properly how over a 10 period of time it will start yielding and will make and it will be profitable for them. Okay, so what is happening there, it's all psychological. Okay, so एक solar panel का कीमत, अगर for example if I am buying a solar panel whose capacity is for example say for example around 4 kilowatt of energy. Okay, and then that 4 kilowatt of energy, we need around 3 panels, and that costs me around, say for example 26 30,000 or 35,000. Okay, now I will think twice thrice कि मैं इतना invest करूंगी. But the question comes as, if I calculate that with 10 years of time period, and then I calculate the amount of bill I am paying for those 10 years of time, then I'll find that that solar energy is far more valuable, reasonable as compared to what I am paying every time for the bill. Okay, so say for example, on an average, if I am paying for an electricity bill, for example, 1,500, and this is the less I'm telling, this is for maybe 1 or 2%. Okay, and that too in Delhi, where the electricity cost is very, very less. Okay, so if I say it's 1,500 for a month, then for 12 months, and then calculate it for 10 years, that will be a good amount. Okay, so first thing is that, and secondly, of course, it is contributing to good amount of CO2 with it. Okay, so this in a long term will be more reasonable, and will be green also, because it is controlling your CO2 emission. But still, for the first time or for the first buying, the financial assistance needs to be ensured. That is a challenge here. Third is your policy barrier. Now, sometimes there is poor implementation techniques. We are very confused how to implement it, how to connect with the third party, and all those things. And then there is also an issue of land acquisition, because for these solar panels to establish, you need a land, and then you need amount of or for the wind energy, you need a considerable amount of land. Now the question comes: already there is huge pressure on land in terms of agricultural productivity and for construction purposes. How to take this land? Okay, so those are all the policy barriers here. And fourth, when the installation comes, of course, no layman can do it. I cannot simply buy the solar energy and install it by myself. Okay, proper engineers need to come to my house, who will see, who will check the area of my roof, and accordingly they will suggest me, okay, this is the amount of area, this is the number of panels to buy. And when they will come, then of course they will install it, they will connect it with my main electricity supply of home, and will also divert the extra amount of energy to some storage thing, so that even if they want to buy or I want to sell that amount of electricity, I can do it. Okay, so now these are all the challenges there. So it means that skilled workforce is needed. So the training also has to be, or there has to be a system where they will, and then where this training thing is given to those in the form of an intern or maybe something, so that that could be used for this purpose. So these are the 4 challenges. Now, how these challenges are addressed, I'll show you a small models, which are your latest models of boot model, RESCO model, CAPEX model. नाम थोड़े बहुत खतरनाक लग रहे हैं, but अभी जब हम उनके full form देखेंगे तो we will enjoy. Actually, those full form contains the meaning and the very essence of the renewable energy using. Okay, so first is your boot technique. Boot is build your own, operate it, and then transfer it. Simple. Okay, it is also said to be OPEX model, OPEX model. Okay, so it is that build your own system, operate yourself, and then transfer the extra amount and get money from it. Okay, so this is you, this is I. Okay, so what I did is I bought the solar plant, but because I initially didn't had a money, so I contacted with an investor. So what this investor has done is, what I am providing them is my roof, my area, my land. ठीक, वो मैंने इन्हें दिया. Now investors, what they did is that they invested in getting the solar panel, in installing that solar panel. ठीक? So say for example, they have invested say around 50,000 rupees. Okay. Now what they will do is that whatever amount of electricity that I'll be, अभी मुझे कुछ नहीं देना पड़ा, मैं कोई भी इन्वेस्टमेंट नहीं दे रही हूँ, बस मैं अपना छत दे रही हूँ और उन्हें अपना एरिया दे रही हूँ इंस्टॉल करने के लिए. Now once they have installed the solar plant, the electricity will start producing. ठीक, उस इलेक्ट्रिसिटी से थोड़ा इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का पार्ट मैं लूंगी, बाकी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी का पार्ट this third party which who has invested will keep on taking for about a PPA period. Okay, now what is this PPA period? I'll tell you. Now this PPA period is your power purchase agreement. ठीक है, power purchase agreement मतलब ये है कि they have full calculations and they will tell you कि ठीक है, इतने दिन में आपका बैलेंस, इतना इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आप हमें दोगे, तो जो भी हमने इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है that will get balanced. So in this way I had मुझे पे भी नहीं करना पड़ा, and after that gestation period this solar panel will be completely mine. Then I can either use entire energy to use it for a house, or the extra amount of energy that I'm getting for selling it. Okay, so is it clear? This is your boot thing. This is your boot model. Okay, now RESCO is your renewable energy renewable energy service company. Okay, so these are the companies, and they are also bit similar to that of your boot model. So what they do is that they will use my rooftop, which is a customer, means I am a customer here, and they will use my rooftop for installing their solar panel. See? Now I will use the electricity from that solar panel. Now because I am using, अभी वो लगा भी रहे हैं, खर्चा भी कर रहे हैं, और मैं उनकी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी भी यूज कर रही हूँ, तो ये तो उनके लिए नुकसान हो जाएगा, पर मैं उस इलेक्ट्रिसिटी के लिए मैं पे करूंगी exactly the way I was earlier paying for the grid supply, and I'll keep on paying them for this electricity until again that PPA thing, जो उनका purchase agreement जब हाँ requirement meet हो जाएगा, there that solar panel will become mine. In that case, then I'll not be paying for the electricity for them, and that will be mine. Okay. So this is what they have done. I am paying for the electricity to the consume. So Resco, they own the solar panel thing, and they will install it in the customer or my place or my building or my company's chat and or roof, and then they will generate the power. Okay, and whatever extra amount of energy that they are getting, they can even sell it to the government electricity board. उनको भी वो एक्स्ट्रा अमाउंट ऑफ सप्लाई कर सकते हैं. ठीक है. तो ये रेस्को और बूट में क्या फर्क है? बूट के केस में दिस सोलर अमाउंट ऑफ, ये जो सोलर पैनल्स हैं जो जिनसे मैं इलेक्ट्रिसिटी जनरेट कर रही हूँ, दैट इज एट माय ओन प्लेस. नाउ रेस्को मॉडल में क्या है? ईदर कंपनी कैन इंडिपेंडेंटली इंस्टॉल इट and then sell that electricity to me, okay, or they can install it on my roof, and for that I will pay for their electricity. I won't consume their electricity, or sorry, I will consume their electricity, but I'll pay for that. बूट मॉडल में क्या था कि हम इनका इलेक्ट्रिसिटी कंज्यूम नहीं करें, तो ओनली अ वेरी स्मॉल पार्ट आई एम कंज्यूमिंग, जो कि है ना उनके कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के साइन पर डिसाइड हो गया था कि ठीक है हम इतना कंज्यूम करेंगे, बाकी इलेक्ट्रिसिटी आप लोगे. ठीक है, टू द टाइम पीरियड अनलेस एंड अंटिल इट balances their investments. ठीक, यहाँ पर ये है कि company will take the entire I will use the entire electricity, but I'll pay for that. ठीक, so this RESCO model is good in case when there is big buildings or there are corporate sectors or there are schools or there are colleges where the structure is big. ठीक है, and capex model is also similar to this. Okay, so now आफ्टर अंडरस्टैंड आर दी मॉडल्स क्लियर बेटा? मॉडल्स आपको क्लियर होगी कैसे कॉपरेट कर सकते हैं या करते हैं? बेटा, इज देयर एनी डाउट रिगार्डिंग मॉडल्स?
नो मैम.
फाइन, थैंक यू साक्षी. ठीक है, अभी नेक्स्ट हम ये करते हैं कि इज और डज इंडिया हैज अ पोटेंशियल फॉर सोलर एनर्जी, and let's compare it. So if we compare with Germany and one state of Rajasthan, not the entire India, so we can say that the area of Germany and Rajasthan is almost equivalent. Okay, now or equivalent, or rather I should say that Rajasthan is greater area than that of Germany. So Germany ka is 1200 square meter, but that of Rajasthan is 2000. Okay, but they have installed 38 gigawatt. We have still installed 30 gigawatt. This means that we still have huge amount of capacity, and we have huge capacity to install further solar energy. और राजस्थान तो हमें पता है कि it's the deserted region. It has a huge potential. It has a throughout year supply of some bright sunlight, so it could be easily utilized for generating the solar energy. Okay, so the question is, each solar panel for generating one. No, this kWp is different from that of kW. That kW is kilowatt hour, which we are talking about normal electricity. This is 1 kilowatt generated by piece panel. Panel is of the solar panel. Okay? So the panel that is generating 1 kilowatt of energy, and that is equivalent to 4 units. ठीक है, हमारे नॉर्मल इलेक्ट्रिसिटी में 1 किलोवाट जो है वो आपका 1 यूनिट के बराबर होता है, लेकिन सोलर पैनल जो 1 किलोवाट जनरेट करता है, दैट इज इक्विवेलेंट टू दैट ऑफ 4 यूनिट्स. ओके, सो इफ आई से दैट आई हैव 4 पैनल्स which is equal to your 4 kilowatt panels, that implies that it will generate 16 units in an hour. Okay, so of course we have already discussed that by 2020 India is going to achieve 175 gigawatt of renewable energy supply, in which the majority of the share it is trying to have it from the solar energy. Okay, wait, I'll take one question. Okay. Okay. So now what are the ways in which these solar panels are being used? So we have one solar thermal. There is a Ramakrishna Mission School. So they are using it for preparing meals, and they can prepare daily meals for about 3,500 to 4,000 for 4,000 people. So that is a huge quantity, because in that case आपका जो भी गैस सिलेंडर, जो भी 5-6 गैस सिलेंडर्स लग रहे होते थे, ये LPG जो वो यूज कर रहा होता है, that is now being replaced by complete solar energy. And 3,500 से 44,000 लोगों के लिए needs produce करना, it's a very very good amount. Okay, and this can operate up to 300 degrees Celsius of temperature, which which is a huge steam pressure. Okay. Now let's talk about wind energy. Now, India also has a very high potential for wind energy, especially in the regions where it encounters storms, that is coastal areas. Tamil Nadu has one of the good potential for producing electricity for wind energy, for harnessing this wind energy. Okay, and not just this, this has a huge volume of business, and CAGR is actually compound aggregate of your interest. What is it? What it is compound agreement? कि जैसे आपको 2% मुनाफा हुआ है और उस 2% पर आपको say for example, no, it's like your PPF account. PPF account में क्या होता है कि आपने जितना भी अमाउंट डाला होता है उस पर आपको ईयरली 8% इंटरेस्ट मिलता है, मतलब 8% आपको उसमें सॉर्ट ऑफ कहोगे एडिशन मिलेगा। अब जो टोटल अमाउंट है 8% के ऐड होने के बाद में दूसरे साल में उस पूरे टोटल अमाउंट पर आपको मिलेगा। सो दैट इज व्हाट इट्स जनरेटिंग। I mean to say is that this keeps on compounding itself. जो भी विंड एनर्जी से उन्हें मुनाफा हो रहा है उस मुनाफे को वो दोबारा से विंड एनर्जी में ऐड करके उस पूरे पर then they keep on taking that मुनाफा. So that keeps on increasing, that keeps on growing. Okay, so that is the good thing in India, that wind energy has a huge potential. India has a huge supply of wind in terms of storms, and and most importantly, its generation cost is very less. And with time, this is going down. See? So only 4 rupees per kilowatt hour is, so that's equivalent to the one we are paying for normal electricity. Means हम एक यूनिट के लिए 4 रुपए के करीब पे करते हैं दिल्ली में, okay, means 4.2 के करीब, but in rest other parts we are paying 6.5, 8.2 and so on. Okay, so we see that for the wind energy, the prices are more falling. So these are the potential states that are harnessing this energy, and this is the total capital cost जो कि पूरे wind energy को लगाने में लगता है, ठीक है? And what else? Okay, so if you talk about the latest development in terms of your wind energy, so so far total potential of 502 gigawatt has been met. And the potential state, as I had already told you, Tamil Nadu is there, Kerala is there, Karnataka and Gujarat is there. Okay, because these are quite windy regions, और storms वगैरह में काफी wind को ये face करते हैं. Okay, and before 2002, India had only 1380 megawatt. Okay, which is around 1.3 gigawatt. और 1.3 gigawatt से 502 gigawatt तक पहुंचना is a huge and a big milestone. Okay. So India is generating right now. So before that, it was only 14.7%. Afterwards, it's around 29.5%, which is more than double. It's almost double. Okay. So on which they are trying to do it. Okay. So we'll quickly discuss about small hydropower projects. Okay. So we have already discussed. Yeah. Lakshya beta, mute yourself beta. Thank you. कोई बात नहीं, might be problem हो गया. I can understand. Anyways, so I had already told you that multi-purpose hydropower projects, although they are running on water, which is a clean fuel, which is not fuel, which is a clean energy, but still they cannot be said to as renewable energy resources because they have a good carbon footprint in terms of clearing the forest, in terms of the amount of cement that they are using, in terms of the problems, secondary problems that they are creating in terms of rehabilitation, resettlement, etc. In terms of submergence and so on. Now, this problem can easily be sorted out with small hydropower projects. So these are the small sizes where you can see कि submergence का भी कोई issue नहीं है, ज़्यादा track की भी रुकने का problem नहीं है. This is small part of that on the right is at northeast. So you can see that this small project, say neither you have a problem of that reservoir thing or the submergence thing, and the course is also maintained. Okay? So they are the good options in place of your big hydro or multi-power projects. Of course, the electricity productivity will be less, but if we create several of such things or multiple the small power projects done, then maybe that total amount of energy met. Okay, so India has a very good potential as far the small hydropower projects are concerned, and that is around 85%. But means 85% is still unexploited. See? So rather than focusing more on multi-purpose projects, it can harness this potential and can grow it more and more. Okay, so they are very good, especially for the power in remote areas like in hilly regions and where the electricity cannot go, or in the northeastern part, especially in Arunachal, when they can go. And as we have already discussed, that they have fewer bottlenecks, small bottleneck effects, so they don't affect the environment to the capacity as the big or large hydropower projects uh, were uh, were affecting. Okay, but they also have some challenges, that there is an implementation delay. That is, of course, not the problem of the small hydro projects, but it's the problem on the authority side, that the implementation is delayed, the timeline is extended, and the maintenance is not proper, infrastructure is not there. So the regulators are not committing it for it, because of course they are not seeing it as more profit. In terms of profit, they are more looking forward towards multi-purpose projects plan. Okay, so these are still some uncertainties which are associated with small hydropower project. So they need to be addressed in order to do it. Okay. Then there are other alternative sources of energy like ocean energy. One is the tidal energy. I think it's been established in the coast of Gujarat or somewhere. And geothermal, what they are doing in geothermal, the volcanic lava or the heat inside the earth is utilized for producing steam. That is serving as a fuel. Now the question comes कि मैम उतना गर्मी हम ऊपर में कैसे लेकर आ सके? कहीं कहीं पर ऐसा प्लेट का फॉर्मेशन होता है where it comes almost close to surface. So pipes are allowed to run through them. Water is allowed to go through those pipes, and they are changed into the steams, which then are used for running the turbines for producing the electricity. Similarly, a biomass energy is also your renewable source of energy, where the biomass or the sewage that is obtained from your sewage discharge plant or your water plant, your water treatment plants, they are being taken, and they are sealed, anaerobic decomposition kiya jata hai. So there they produce this methane, which then is collected and is used for generating electricity, or they are generated in the form of biofuels like ethanol and methanol. And biofuels का huge quantity में production है वो US and these countries are doing, so that they can replace the fossil fuel with these biofuels. So they are producing it by the fermentation of the biomass. So this is the biomass energy in two ways. Either जो भी आपका सीवेज वगैरह पार्ट है उसको एनारोबिकली डिकम्पोज होकर उसको मीथेन में कन्वर्ट करके मीथेन को एज अ फ्यूल यूज करना, और जितने भी आपके बायो your plants or biomass is there, that can be fermented and can be converted into biofuel like ethanol and methanol. Okay, so I think maybe some from your class or maybe from other class have told me that ma'am, India is now, I think Shruti was there, right? So maybe from other department. Okay, so she told us that ma'am, actually Indian government has taken initiative to increase the percentage of methanol in petrol. So they are slowly and slowly trying to replace the petrol percentage with that of an ethanol, okay, and methanol. Okay, so this is how your tide energy looks. There are several ways. So when the high tide and the low tide happens, then those waves, running off those waves, move these turbines. This is also one turbine is in the high tide period. So when the tides will run, they will run these turbines, and this turbine in turn is connected to an electric motor, which will harness and generate the energy, which is then utilized for generating the electricity. Okay, so I'll finish it here. And in this part, we have a very small portion remain, that is your innovative technologies. In innovative technologies में क्या है कि 2-3 renewable sources को एक साथ combine करके बहुत compressed size में कर दिया गया है, so that each one of us can also use at an individual levels. ठीक है, so we will see our जो हम land acquisition और उन सब के problem के बारे में बात कर रहे थे, how that is also solved with these innovative technologies. We will discuss that in our remaining class, and that will finish this. So then we will continue with your unit 7. I think unit 6 is almost about to get finished. So maybe I'll start picking up with the biodiversity. Okay. Okay. So anyone has any doubt, any question so far?